All right, you guys want to get your headphones on? All right, part two. I had a battery problem yesterday, so we're gonna try to figure it out. I worked all night last night, and yeah, we're good. Um, and ended up buying a new computer and calling Soydon and having him talk me through things that I messed up. I think we have a workaround today, but oh, I got to turn this down. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Oh, and I got to connect the Bluetooth just in case anybody calls. So yeah, we're gonna figure out. The next episode will be way better. We will, yeah, we'll get the computer set up, and I think I need someone to come with me. We talked about that. I think maybe I'll teach you, kid, and I need someone to run the board so that I'm not screwing it up. All right, we are connected. So if anybody wants to call in, all right, where did we leave off yesterday? Because I got a few things that I wanted to bring up again, but that we didn't really finish. Real thoughts.
I remember talking about my boyfriend's nicknames.
Did you tell him?
No, I told him he has to.
Did he listen?
No, he didn't catch it live. So
okay,
since it's not published yet.
Well, it's on Facebook. It's on the Facebook page. Oh. It'll be always on the Facebook page too.
Oh, okay. Then
so
I'll
you can watch
tell
it
him
there.
that.
Yeah.
I told him that it wasn't published, and so he couldn't see it yet.
Yeah, I'll put it on. I'll put it on the Facebook page tonight, or on the YouTube and all the podcast channels tonight. So my friend Jen Norman's watching. Jen just opened a store in Enid, Oklahoma, like an oddities apothecary store. Yeah. Yeah. So
that's cool.
We'll have to go to Enid, Oklahoma, maybe, kiddo.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a road trip. I thought about swinging by there on my last trip, but it just was, I was kind of in a hurry to get there, and then I was in a hurry to get home.
Yeah.
So why, I don't know. I was. So all right. So what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about your boyfriend's nickname.
I think that was like the last thing after like kind of the rolling credits. But before that, we answered a few questions. That was pretty awesome.
Yep. Ryan ruins everything. You'll have to go watch Adam Ruins Everything. I had lunch with some of my dudes today, and I told them, and they both love the show. So not my show. They don't listen to my show.
It's on Netflix. They don't love the show.
Yeah, they don't listen to my show. They listen, but they did like Adam Ruins Everything. So we were talking today at lunch, my buddies and I, about, I listened to an interview with Quentin Tarantino the other day. And so we were talking about movies. And I know that movies have been, we talked a little bit yesterday, but movies have been a big part of our life for a long time. It's either going to movies or watching them at home. And I remembered a story about our drive-in experience. Do you remember?
I remember going to the drive-in.
We went and saw Kung Fu Panda at the drive-in. And we had that old van. Excuse me.
The white van.
The white van.
Yep.
And we're all watching the movie, and I look at your mom, and I'm like, some asshole keeps honking the horn.
Because where we parked, we
had the back open. Yep.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find the kid, so we look up, and the kid's got their feet on the seat, on the driver's seat, and her hands like this on the horn, just going back and forth. I'm sure you don't remember that.
So you do, but everyone else at that movie remembers because it's the most obnoxious thing.
Right.
In the whole entire
But it
world.
was Kung Fu Panda, so I don't think it ruined it at all.
Kung Fu Panda.
That was the only time I've ever been to a drive-in. That's the only drive-in movie I've ever been to. Have you told me you've been to too, or have you been to others?
I went to one with Easy.
Oh, okay. Right.
That's the first time I had churros too.
Yeah, we mentioned Easy yesterday, and Easy was a kid named Ethan that lived down the street, and I don't know that Easy's mom and dad gave much of a shit about him, so he spent a lot of time here, and we called him Easy E or the Big Easy, and he was a cool kid.
He was a cool little kid, and definitely a little dork, but he's just we're all dorks.
Yep.
He fit in.
Well, I remember one time I had Ren and Easy dress up and be my wait staff for a dinner I made for your mom for Valentine's Day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he wore a suit. He wore a shirt suit, and he kept
cute.
calling it his tuxedo. and he was doing MC Hammer dances with his feet going like this, back and forth, back and forth. And I asked him, I said, what do you love the most? What do you like the most about Valentine's Day? And he says, it doesn't cost anything to love somebody.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty heavy duty comment. You remember? I mean, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what it came out of that little guy.
That's cute.
And I yeah. And he did your rap. That's what we talked about yesterday. He did the rap with you. So I've seen him on the social medias, and he's actually kind of a good looking kid now. He kind of grew into his weird.
I was about to ask what he was up to nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was around a lot. I liked him.
Yeah, yeah. I know he commented a lot on Aaron's social media stuff, which was a little bit weird. That as you remember that social media stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah. So movies. So this Quentin Tarantino interview talked about movies. So I wanted to ask you guys of all the movies that we saw together, whether it was in the theater or, I mean, we saw Avatar. I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the big ones we've seen. Leah, you and I saw a bunch, and kid, we've seen a bunch of shitty horror movies.
Yeah.
Star Wars during Christmas.
The Star Wars. Oh, that was a tradition.
Yeah,
Remember?
that's on my. Yeah.
Star Wars on Christmas,
were
because
big
they used to
ones.
come out around Christmas time every year. And we'd go in and take the big crowlers of beer and
Take up entire rows of the movie theater.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I forgot that
was
we did
cool.
that so many years in a row. Every year that it came out around Christmas time, we'd go
We
on
saw a
Christmas
bunch
Day.
of them.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then, so yeah. So what are some of the movies that you remember that made an impact on you growing up?
I remember going to Psycho, the original
Yeah,
Psycho,
yeah,
with
yeah.
you and Mom, and
Mhm.
we stayed in. I mean, I think I fell asleep because that
Yeah.
movie wasn't as exciting as I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be. But
yeah.
it was.
Well, you know,
it-
that's
but
what-
it
that's-
was
that-
cool on the big screen, and it was cool to see it.
Well, and then we saw, one of my favorite movies of all time is Jaws, and we remember we saw that
Yeah.
on Father's Day, for the 40th anniversary. And we were talking about this at lunch today, my buddies and I, that we were talking about that, the like Jaws and Alien and some of those old horror movies are looked at now by people as being too long. It takes too long to get to it. It takes too long. And I think it's because, we've got this mentality of the Fast and the Furious movies, where it's just action, 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 and shitty writing and shitty acting and shitty plot lines, but it's just action.
There has to be like blood and gore all the time, something around every corner.
And that's why, Psycho, it wasn't. An Alien wasn't. So, kid, other than Ouija Shark or what was Grandpa Shark or what was
Santa
the
Shark.
Santa Shark?
And then there was.
Where the kid, did you ever watch Santa Shark? Kid, give us the premise of Santa Shark.
Okay, if I can remember it right, this boy drew comic books.
No, he made a wish to Santa. He wrote a letter to Santa that
Oh, right.
he made a wish to Santa that his grandpa would get eaten by a shark.
Because he hated his
Because he
grandpa.
hated his grandpa.
Or he got into I think it wasn't even that he hated him. He just got into a fight with him that morning.
Yeah, yeah.
And just
So-
wished that he
And
would
being
get
a little
eaten by a
kid.
shark.
And so Santa turned into a shark and killed his grandpa.
And did that for him.
Yep.
I don't know, because there's also the tradition that we just started recently where we watch Napoleon Dynamite every
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
that was a fun one for a while. That was and I don't know that one will keep up, but that was fun. So that was also
love
tied
that
into some of the Christmas. What other family traditions do we have?
I have one down. I mean, not that I
No, go ahead,
even
no.
need my
Yeah,
notes, but
yeah.
pajamas.
Pajamas, and that was
on
my deal when I was a
Christmas
kid.
Eve, yeah.
New pajamas on
And
Christmas
they,
Eve.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys got
Oh,
so
Jen
good.
Norman said that Santa Shark is awesome. Hey, Jen, have you seen Ouija Shark? That's one you've got it. You got to check out Ouija Shark. It's
Sharktopus
That's one I
versus
have
war whale.
seen.
yeah, shark. And then there was Velocipaster was another one about the guy, a preacher that turns into a dinosaur. And then Piranaconda.
Yeah.
Piranaconda was a good one. It was a big, huge snake with a piranha face.
Yeah.
So-
Those are all good.
So yeah. But yeah, it's so it's the pajamas on and then crab legs on your mom's birthday.
Yeah.
That was another one for a long time.
Then I was thinking, yeah, like an annual thing. I don't know. Yeah, we didn't have too many
No.
annual.
No.
But the ones that we
Yeah.
did were pretty
Yeah.
unique. Unique and special. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
So all right, so I hit a few things. I got a few more things, but I'm gonna let you guys hit your list again. We because I don't know what's on there. They've been sitting here. I should have read them.
Yeah, I was thinking that you would. And
No.
you could
Yeah.
No.
take some more, but no, I've got Christmas pajamas on
Yeah.
here, and doing the fire pit. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess
Well, the Halloween was a fun
was
one. Yeah.
nice. my favorite.
That was
one.
a fun one.
We didn't do it for too long.
My neighborhood,
Recall
if
the
you
tradition.
for those that don't know, my neighborhood is crazy town on Halloween. I mean, it is insane the amount of kids we have. I think we went through like over 3,500 pieces of candy one year, and we had two asshole dogs that were jumpers and barkers. So we moved everything to the driveway with a fire pit and a table that everybody could plug in crock pots and stuff.
Pots of soup.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. And we just sit outside
because
it used to be fairly nice on Halloween. And in the last couple of years, it's gotten a little bit colder. And I've been gone with my show and stuff. So
this year it was pretty nice.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So, kiddo, what do you got? Anything?
Not many.
Hey, Ryan Roth is watching, and Ryan's in Cancun right now. So Ryan is watching all the way from Cancun.
Aww.
Thanks, Ryan.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Ryan, I love you, but if you had a show and I was in Cancun, I would not be watching. So Ryan, you got any questions for my kiddos? I know that
all the way from
all the way from Mexico. So, kiddo, go ahead.
I don't have many that we haven't already touched on. New addition was the South Dakota trip.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We packed up and drove the camper up to South Dakota. We'd never been to the Black Hills. And we took Tony, and you took a friend, Grace. And about halfway there, we realized that we had forgotten a lot of food and a lot of booze. And
the birth of classic fantastic.
Oh, yes. Remember, we improvised.
I remember.
Improvised old fashions, and we didn't have a few of the things, so we made do with what we have.
Put in gummy bears.
And we put gummy worms.
Oh, cool.
And I think it was gummy worms or whatever.
I don't know.
And your friend Grace,
up the alcohol.
your friend Grace said, "What is it about these classic fantastics instead of old fashions?" I thought that was pretty. So Ryan wants to know when we're all going to get matching tattoos, and I go, hopefully someday. Hopefully someday, Ryan.
Dude, I'd love to get another.
We got to wait about a year and a half for the kiddo.
Yeah.
Well, my guy will do it. I know my guy.
I was saying
he did it for Roth's daughter before she was 18 with parents, but I don't know that mom would be into that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
She was for a while for some reason.
Yeah, the one person I know that does not have a tattoo.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
So another thing I remembered, and I told this story when I was in Little Rock. Whenever I would go on a trip, whenever your mom and I go on a trip or I'd go on a trip, we would go get pedicures. The week before, we would all go get pedicures. We did that a lot when you guys were little. And then Kid and I kept that tradition when you moved. And so we're going to go do that tomorrow just for fun. We're going to go get pedicures again tomorrow.
Thanksgiving pedicures.
Yep, we're going to do Thanksgiving pedicures tomorrow.
You guys already have your colors picked out?
No, it's usually a game time decision.
Yeah.
Nice. Spur them up.
So, yeah. And I may go multiple colors for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like black and blue or black and red or black and white. I don't know what I'll do.
Maybe you'll go fancy.
Well, maybe I won't do anything. I don't know. I still have, I think it's been 6 or 7 months and I still have a little blue on my big toes from the last time. So
it just hasn't.
All right. Ryan has a question, and I think Leah may have covered it yesterday, and I don't remember. Yesterday was a long time ago. What is your favorite magic routine that your dad does?
Oh yeah. Well,
let's talk about my show. Let's talk about like real routines. I mean, I don't know, Kid, you've seen the show several times, and I don't know, Leah, that you've seen it.
I haven't seen it recently. It's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen your show super recently.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot around here, so.
Yeah, my favorite is the one that you did at my birthday party.
Well, yeah, you had, and I couldn't recreate it. I couldn't recreate it. So.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a couple. I think that the ones that I do have a special place in my heart for your color match.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Because you did it for my 5th grade class.
Oh, the circus routine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the circus routine is pretty awesome. Routine, The whole thing, when you combine all the stuff with the tickets and the coloring book.
Yep. Yeah.
You've done that.
I shelved that for a while, and I had some people say, "Hey, why aren't you doing that?" And I thought, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, you get tired of it. I know my least favorite is the
smash and stab. I lent that to a friend in New Orleans, and he was going to work on something, and he split. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. He split with it, and a couple other high-end props. And so I just ordered a new one. I had the guys making me a new one, the smash and stab. I want to bring that back.
Rusty nails, sharp
so
knife.
It was the knife one. It's the knife one. Yeah. The nail one got taken from at security at an airport.
Oh.
Yeah. So and I screwed up and put it in the wrong bag and was in a hurry to get home. So, but so I think I may have Roth do my interview. when I switch places, I think it might
I
be
think
Ryan.
that's gonna be a great idea.
So yeah.
I think that would be perfect.
All right, so I interrupted. I stepped on you. One more. What's that?
Do you have anything?
Wait,
Let me see. Let's see how the battery's working.
yeah, let's check in.
All right, so it's going down.
Actually-
It says 93 now.
Okay.
So it is going down, but
not
it's not as quickly. So
Well, I don't know. We did the last one for like an hour, like maybe.
yeah,
an
but we're already in.
exponential.
I mean, I think we're already in. I don't know. We're in.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't matter as long as
Right.
it's working.
Yeah,
Then that's
yeah.
good.
We'll keep an eye on it. So
Yeah.
it'll get better by next time
That's
when
so crazy.
when
It's so
Sweeton can
weird.
come down and help me. So all right.
We're good at test podcasting.
Yeah.
We'll
Well, what's funny
test
is I've
it
done
out.
6 or 7 of these, and it's never happened, and I've gone through almost 3 hours. So
Yeah.
with nothing different.
Mhm.
So, all right, kid, what do you got?
Weird.
Either one of you got anything?
I mean, I've got a few more like good memories that I
Yeah.
wish we would have kept going, but you had to get rid of the scout, or the scout
Yeah.
got rid of us. But I remember driving through lots of giant puddles with that thing, and I still sometimes have dreams about it. The baby blue with
Oh yeah.
the stripe and everything.
It's sitting out at my brother's farm. And my
Oh,
brother,
so it's
yeah,
still
yeah.
around.
No,
but
yeah,
it probably hasn't been used. In
No, he
a
was
really
gonna. I
long
mean,
time.
I don't know what he was gonna do, but he was gonna restore it, and he was gonna. I spent a lot of money on that
Wow.
and had the engine and everything rebuilt, and I just lost the
Oh my
love for it.
gosh. Yeah.
I lost the love for it, and I didn't. There was no place
But
to
it was-
store it, and yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Beautiful, beautiful truck. It was fun to ride in.
Yep.
I don't think I ever drove it. Maybe when you were teaching.
I don't know. Do you remember when you would drive the Subaru at the Walmart or Kmart parking lot,
Yep.
and now it's your car?
Yeah.
We have pictures somewhere of the kid sitting on my lap driving the Subaru.
Well, and I remember we'd go out to the old Habitat building,
That was the old
Or
Kmart.
the
Yeah,
old Kmart.
yeah.
and I drive your Tahoe.
Oh, I don't remember the Tahoe.
Do
Do you remember? Do you remember the when we'd roll the screen or the sunroof back, and the kid would stand on the
Yeah.
and poke her head out? Oh, that was so dangerous, but so much fun.
So much fun.
I sometimes wonder how I've made it without
For
killing the
everyone.
two of you. Yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was a blast. I remember with the white van you do Indiana Jones style, and that was so awesome. We'd be like, you have to jump in the car.
Oh, I
before
did
you
the-
button, and you went to Indiana Jones.
Oh,
and
I don't.
into
Yeah,
your-
yeah.
Into your van.
It's funny the things we remember. I
I know.
yeah, yeah.
This whole podcast and like thinking about this podcast has brought up so many
Well,
just
good.
little memories that I'm like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that.
Yep, yep. Well, I had forgotten about the cooking like a pioneer.
But yeah.
Sorry for the cough, man. I'm starting to feel like shit. I don't know what's going on. It happens every time I travel, and I come back to this shitty place, and it's just. And I'm guessing it's maybe. I don't know. I need to maybe get my. I don't. Whatever. But I got this cough and the sniffles.
Something. It's dry.
So, I do remember when we talked a little bit about it yesterday, the nachos, and I did that. I didn't do that very long, but one of the things I've really tried to always cook fun stuff, but those nachos were so much fun. I took one chip and put beans on it, and put cheese on it, and put meat on it, and put an olive on it, and put a pepper on it, and then another chip. Because I think we were in Mexico for one of our trips, and that's how they made them.
Yeah, it was so perfect. It was so good. You got it all in one chip.
Yep. Oh, kids writing some down.
I know.
Right. Well, the Mexico trip reminded me of my bird,
Oh, pancakey.
Pancakey,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'd go feed Fruit Loops to.
Yeah, you went to Mexico when you were about 6
Pancakey.
months old, and then you went back again when you were under 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember when you just ate avocados and mangoes.
yep, that was the first trip when
2
about
weeks.
6 months old. We have you guys have 2 uncles that are absolute princesses, and had to have these ridiculously,
I love
Re-
the excuse to go to Mexico.
it's because you didn't pay for it.
Yeah, that's true.
And and frankly, your mom and I really struggled with money for a while. Things didn't turn around. There was times, right after the kid was born, that your mom and I were really living paycheck to paycheck. And I took a job at a liquor store. Do you remember when I was working at
yeah.
and I'd drive from the
I
Farmers Bank and
remember.
Alt,
Mhm.
and I'd work at a liquor store till midnight, and your mom would sell my record collection, my autograph collection, and my book collection on eBay. We listed it. We had a huge medical debt that we had to pay off, and I didn't want to borrow, and I didn't want to put it on credit,
Yeah.
and so we worked
Yeah.
really hard, and at both of those times is when your princess uncles decided to but you know what, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd like to say they would have done it for me, but I don't think they would have. So, but yeah, the Mexico trips were fun. We did. That was the first trip your mom and I took when we were dating. Was we went to Cancun, and we both we ate dinner when we first got there, and it destroyed us.
Yeah.
The next day, we got on a 3-hour bus trip to Chichen Itza to the ruins, and we were just pissing out of our butts all day. It was terrible. And so we finally found at the ruins, we found a place that had Pepto-Bismol. Pepto Business. Pepto Business. Yeah. Oh, I've got a list of the things that the kid would say. Pepto Business. Yep. And they were $8 a pill for Pepto Business. $8 a pill.
Right.
And it was the best $32 I've ever spent. So I'm just gonna throw some words out to see what you remember. Coin slot.
Yep.
Yep.
Raise your hand if
the kids.
Right.
Your vocabulary was so awesome.
The kid's butt would hang out quite a bit, and I think we called it coin slot.
I think we stuck a couple coins.
Oh, I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. Chipoleon Dynamite. Chipoleon Dynamite. Oh my God, there was a couple other ones.
I watched that movie a lot.
And the cartoon. Do you remember the cartoon?
Yeah.
Which I can't find anywhere.
It's on. I think
is it on Hulu? Okay.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Homework Simpson.
Yep.
And then Family Guy was called Talking Dog.
Yep.
So Leah and I talked about this the other night at the distillery. The enjoyment that I got out of watching some of the kids' cartoons. Nikki Flores, the Twirly Whirly.
From Yo Gabba Gabba.
I don't.
And then the Choo Choo Train. Yeah. All aboard the Choo Choo Train. I don't remember.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah. We looked it up, and I don't remember, but we looked up a picture of it, and that was. Yeah. They. I mean, those two kid shows knew what to do for dads. Yeah. I mean, for sure.
They were throwing stuff in there for you.
So, but we went and saw Yo Gabba Gabba live.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And my car broke down on the way, and we all piled in that little Scion that the schoolies had and went while they fixed my car. A hose came out and it started steaming. And but yeah, Biz's beat of the day, and we were looking at a list of all the celebrities that were on Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah. And there were some that I don't remember. Anthony Bourdain was on. I had no idea. I mean, yeah. So, but then Leah didn't remember Leslie. Do you remember Leslie?
Yeah.
The gold, jumper, and she was like the host of the show that we saw. Yeah. And then another story I want to tell about the kid is Dora was at one of the car dealerships.
We went to Dora Live too.
Well, but before that, we went to one of the car dealerships, and they had a Dora and was it Boots?
Yeah, the monkey.
Excuse me, guys. I should use my cough button. I'm gonna take a drink.
The mute
button.
We
went to Dora karaoke.
So we went out there, and they had a contest, and you could win a doll. And so they had all the lyrics to the song, and kid was like 3. And so these kids are getting up there and singing, and they come over and because you want to sing it, and they hand the kid she's like, what the hell am I gonna do with this? I know the words. And so you bust it out, Dora, 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 and the whole thing, and they're like, fuck, this kid wins. And then we went and saw Dora, and it wasn't Dora Live. Remember, the kid called it Dora Alive.
Dora Alive.
Yeah, we're gonna go see Dora Alive at the Buell. That was Yep. And then I think when you were little, I think Leah, do you want to tell the story? Do you remember the story of Cinderella?
And how worried I was that she was.
Yeah.
So
I'll set it up. I'll set it up.
Okay.
I was on the board of directors for the Union Colony Civic Center, and I was really trying to impress Leah's mom. And we were fairly new. I mean, I think you were 4 or 5, and you guys were going on a trip, and you were going to miss the performance. But they were doing their tech build out of the Union Colony Civic Center before the tour. So I called my friend who managed the thing and said, hey, can I get in and watch one of the dress rehearsals? So we had the whole Civic Center to ourselves, and we sat there, and you were 4 or 5, and we sat there, and
it was great.
So the cast, when they were not performing, the cast would come out into the audience and sit by us. And so Leah, I'm going to let you tell the story.
Sit and watch, and it was so amazing. I can remember the colors and the lights and stuff, but then there was one scene where, the Prince Charming isn't in it, and so he was coming off stage, and he sat down, and Cinderella was in some trouble. There was something going on with Cinderella, and so I was very, very concerned that he was not up there because
he wasn't going to make it in time.
Saving her.
He's just sitting in the chair like some lazy bum. He's like, get up there, go fix this.
Like, shit's going down right now. Go help her. Yeah. It was awesome. Yep. But that's one thing that I'll never be able to really see that again. But that you just take for so for granted. When you're a little kid, I mean, it was like I got the whole theater to myself.
Yep.
It was pretty cool, and it's awesome.
Well, then we saw
Remember it.
Seussical, the musical.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was a Dr. Seuss musical. I'm trying to think of some of the other things that we went to when you were little.
Yeah.
I took you to the Frankie Valley show. The I don't know what they called it.
Was that with all the acapella?
yeah,
guys?
the singers. Yeah, we went to that, and the kid was very little.
Yeah.
We went and did
It was
that.
actually really cool.
Yeah.
It was way cooler
Yeah.
than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you remember, you saw Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
We were like 6 or
at
7 at the Stampede.
The
Yep.
Stampede. Yeah.
When she just was a little girl in a
She was
sundress with a
opening
guitar.
for,
Brad Paisley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think then
Or
at
she
that
was
same time, a
entertaining.
couple days later, we went out to the Stampede and we ate. Do you remember we ate a waffle
A
funnel cake? And we
Yeah.
both ran home, kiddo, and just puked our fucking guts out.
I can't handle it.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are some
But
of the
it's
fun things.
cool.
Yeah.
We had lots of fun. We definitely didn't miss a beat.
I remember I took you and the two boys to Fonta's and let you dress up however you wanted. And you were a princess. I think one was Batman and the other was a dragon. And we just paraded through Fonta's some Saturday afternoon. Oh, and Leah, do you remember do you remember the limo?
The
The limo ride with Sylvester Omafoma.
Kidnapping.
Yeah. So I had a client when I was at the Farmers Bank. I had a client that ran a limo service, and so I had him come pick us up. Did we go to something, or was it just drive around for ice cream? I think it was just drive around, right?
Got ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sylvester was a probably 6'8", 6'9", Nigerian black man with a heavy accent, and he scared the shit out of these kids. He scared them
He
to
was
death.
like, we're not going home. We're not.
Yeah.
I'm not taking you back home. And
Right.
We're like,
Yeah, right. And I'm with him, and he's like, no, it's not time to go home yet. And so he stopped at like a Dollar World and bought you guys fake cell phones and fake
Yeah.
cop badges or something. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that.
because we were crying. We're like, it was fun until
Yeah.
it was like, oh, we're never gonna see our home again.
Right. Yeah, Sylvester Omafoma. God, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. I hadn't thought about that until it just popped in my head.
Yeah.
So, and then
That was awesome.
I think both of you, did we ride elephants? Which one of you rode an elephant?
I rode an elephant in
Okay.
one of the car
At one of the car
dealerships.
dealerships, we rode an elephant. Yeah.
No,
No.
you weren't there. You missed out on everything.
I know.
man.
Oh,
Like,
I don't
you
think
just missed
kid missed out on a whole lot. I would like to hope that the kid doesn't think.
Traumatizing limo rides and
Damn.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, but the kid got. I mean, we did ride in a pretty terrifying airplane ride from
to the Grand
Canyon. And let's talk about that hotel. Let's talk about. Now I'm gonna brag a bit. You two girls have stayed in some of the finest hotels in the
Yeah.
entire world.
Yeah.
And
most
the
amazing
Marble
place.
Canyon Lodge. We had 2 rooms. Kid and I were going to stay in a room, and Leah and her mom were going to stay in a room. And Kid and I walked into our room, and I put my bag down, and Kid says, "This room stinks. I'm not staying in it." And turned around and went into her mom's room.
Well,
Yep.
it was a dead body.
Well, it had to be. It had been a dead body. So yeah. So if you ever get a chance, the Marble Canyon Lodge is without a doubt the shittiest
real
hotel
bad.
I've stayed in.
You
I've,
got a frozen corn
I
dog.
did.
Oh,
for
wait, I was gonna have a kid tell the story. So,
I
kid,
did.
tell the story of
Oh,
dinner.
yeah.
We went to the now let's preface this. We had to stay at the Marble Canyon Lodge. It was part of the whole outfitters that we were going to spend 8 days on the Grand Canyon. They flew us from the small airport in Vegas. They flew us to the Marble Canyon, and then we launched on the river from there. So we had to stay there.
Yeah.
So we and Bill and I shipped beer. Remember, we shipped 5 cases of beer because we
Yeah.
were afraid we weren't going to be able to buy it. So we FedExed beer so we could
Yeah.
take it. Yeah. All right, kids. So we go to dinner, and I had this like Navajo taco that was so good, and I think there were some other like Southwestern foods, and kid ordered a corn dog.
And it is just there is no like side dish. It's just a corn dog on a plate. And I bite into it, and it is still frozen solid.
But the outside is like overcooked.
But the outside is like
Yeah, right,
burnt.
right.
And so they just took it back and probably just microwaved it for a little bit.
But luckily, I mean, luckily that was at the
Re-microwave
beginning
it.
of the trip.
Yeah.
You know, and so the worst part was,
So like the bookend
Yeah.
hotels that we stayed
Yeah,
in that trip
yeah.
was pretty
after
awesome.
staying there, then staying in the, sleeping on the side of the river, staying at the Bellagio in the big, and you remember there, the Bellagio was quite a,
It was awesome.
so you went to Vegas twice with me.
Yeah, that one, and then the one to.
We
collect
talked a
your
little bit about that
bet,
yesterday. Yeah. I don't bet very often, but I did bet twice. I bet on the Broncos to win the Super Bowl the year they won, and then took all that money and bet on the Cubs to win the World Series, and they did. And that paid for the Zoltar machine.
Yep.
So I knew that if I brought it home, I'd have to spend it on something responsible and something adult. And I said, you know what? This is free money. I'm buying a Zoltar machine, because who doesn't need a Zoltar machine?
It's awesome. Does it? It still works.
Oh, it still works, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
cool.
no,
It's
it's
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's a customized Zoltar machine, and whatever.
I remember the drama with moving it downstairs.
Oh,
And the
we
neighbor
had
guys.
we had a couple oil guys that lived next door, rented the house next door, and I gave them a bottle of whiskey to move it downstairs, and then they didn't leave.
This is the
They didn't leave. They stayed down here to drink the whiskey. I'm like, all right, guys, it's like 11:30, and it was on Halloween, if I remember right.
Yeah, because everyone was outside.
Yeah.
And they just like, this basement's pretty awesome. I think
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
stick
yeah,
around.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's probably gonna be some more whiskey later.
Yeah. Well, and we gave them a bottle of whiskey, and they were like, oh, do you mind if we drink it here? I'm like, all right.
Kind of.
So another story I want to tell about Leah. Leah went to New Orleans when you were about 19 with
Yeah.
us. It was maybe my third, maybe your mom's my third trip to New Orleans, third or
I
fourth.
wouldn't say 19.
And we went to a bar that was awesome. It's no longer awesome, called the
Oh,
Avenue.
the Avenue.
And,
I got that one on.
We drank like assholes. We
So
drink
awesome,
like
'cause
assholes.
I could drink
Oh.
like an asshole too.
And we went upstairs and bought a tray of Pappy Van Winkle shots. And I'm like, what am I doing? And they were like $35 a piece. And I think we bought, I don't know, 10 of
There
them.
was, at least 8 of us.
And I picked up
think,
some rando
because
dude.
You had your friend.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I mean,
yeah.
whoever that guy was. And yeah, it was Gary and Kristen. And were they there? No, Gary and Kristen.
Yeah, Gary and Kristen were there.
There.
And I think
Who
James
else?
and his wife.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
James and Ruby.
Yeah. And
3 of us.
we and the best part is, so it's time to go. It's time to wrap it up. And I'm like, all right, guys, we got to go. We're drunk. And Leah goes person to person. Are you going to finish that? Are you going to finish that?
I'm 19 years old and they're letting me drink in this bar. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
The drunkest I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Well, and then I think that trip started off. We went to K. Paul's, which is Paul Prudhomme's restaurant, which is closed.
Yeah,
Absolutely one of my favorite restaurants in the world. And you ordered turtle soup
So
and an
much
Abita purple haze,
Uh-huh.
and you're just like, I wonder if they're going to bring it to me. And you were 19, and like, this is New Orleans, and they brought it. If you remember, they set it in front of me.
They're like, if you make this decision to pass that over, that's on you.
We just had a comment, and yes, I am very proud. Thank you for commenting. My kids, I am very proud of my kids. They are they're probably the thing that I've done the best. I've made a lot of mistakes, and some I'm not proud of, and some that I hope I can correct, and some that I can't. So we'll see. But my hopefully I can keep these kiddos straight. You know, keep them from dying. No, don't take any lives and don't make any lives yet. So I'm sorry. So Leah is in New Orleans, and we just got shit faced. I mean, it was all day drinking, and then we went to the St. Patrick's Day parade, and you remember I had to leave. I had to.
Yeah, 'cause
I had to.
You had to go set.
I had a
up
show
your
that night.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, you had to go get everything
Yeah,
figured out.
and I'm getting your mom's texting me these pictures of you kissing these like strange like
Yeah.
60-year-old men.
All the old men.
Yeah,
I was
all of the old
"Then they
men.
give you presents.
All the old the cabbage. They gave you
A
cabbage, and they
big
gave you
deal. And
potatoes and necklaces.
and
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah,
It
New
was
Orleans-
Great. They gave you the streets, but you had to kiss them first.
I've had a lot of fun with both of you, and I am sad that I got fucked out of New Orleans. I'm sad that the way
kinda
that went
bummed
down.
about New Orleans too.
And
would've liked to get back
it was
there.
really something that I thought was going to be part of my life. It was something I thought I would eventually turn over to you guys. And you know what? Money does weird things to people, and it sucks. It sucks. But
True.
whatever. I made a wheelbarrow full of money and on to something else. We'll find something else to do. But
Find
that's
another rad place.
that's one of the things that I talk about with my counselor, and I talk about with maybe I talked about with my dad. Is what do I want to leave you girls? What do I want to, I mean, it's not just a big house and not just a skull collection, I mean, it's what do I want to leave, what do I want to leave you guys something, your mom has your mom owns the flower shop, and someday, maybe the flower shop will be something you guys get to deal with or something. And so that's something I want to do is I want to make a legacy that something is carried on that you guys can be like, this is something my dad built. So maybe I don't know, maybe you guys will marry magicians and they'll be like, oh, take the mantle. So,
yeah, we'll see.
Yep. So the kid and I
That'll
had
be
some fun.
but I'm excited to see what you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. The kid and I had some fun in New Orleans. My proudest moment of my kid in New Orleans was we were walking down on our way to go see Doreen Kitchens. And I don't know if you were there with Doreen Kitchens. So she's an amazing clarinet. So, I mean, she's
Oh yeah,
yeah,
On
she's,
the,
I have
yeah.
her CD still.
right on the corner, right by Rouse's. I mean, she's
we got
amazing.
to see her
And
too.
the kid wanted to go see her, and we're walking, and one of the problems with tourists in New Orleans is that they step out the door and then they stop. And the kid walks by and she just goes, "Oh my God, fucking tourists." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I got a couple more stories. So
I was gonna say, is that your
Wait.
proudest moment, or is the moment that we were taking the picture next to Ignatius O'Reilly?
yeah, I'm saying that's on the story. That's I'm telling you. You want to tell it?
Yeah.
So everybody knows. Anybody that has knows me at all knows that Confederacy of Dunces is a huge deal to me. It's Ignatius O'Reilly. I call him Uncle Ignatius, or my brother Ignatius, and he's my kid's Uncle Ignatius. If you haven't read the book, it is life-changing book. Have you read it, Leah? Okay, it is so good. You started it.
I've been
Yeah.
talking about reading it.
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. So there's a statue on Canal Street right in front of the Hyatt that has been there for 30 years of Ignatius. And I started there's probably 40 pictures on my Facebook page of me and Ignatius. And I always say, "Hey buddy, it's good to see you again." Or, "Hey brother, it's good to see you again." So one of my things I really wanted to do was take Ren to go get the picture taken with Uncle Ignatius. So we're walking up there, and then
We take the picture, and as we're walking back, we hear a family like scoff at the fact that we're taking a picture at this ugly statue. And I don't think you were upset about it, but you were kind of
no, I
like,
think I said fucking savages, read a book or something like
Right.
that. You don't even know what you're talking about, right?
and I look up, and I think the quote is, "Don't worry, Dad, they're going into the IHOP."
Yeah, don't be too bad at them. They're going into the IHOP. And I'm like, oh,
Because
perfect.
They did. They
They're in-
noticed the
yeah, they got excited. They got all giddy about going to the IHOP.
Yeah.
I mean, and
In New
they're
Orleans.
right in New Orleans. I mean, the food capital of the world. So,
Oh, amazing! I had my first not Rockefeller oysters. What are those?
Oysters Rockefeller, or grilled oysters,
Yeah,
the charboiled oysters.
Charboiled, yeah.
And that was at, we did the food tour with James Food Tour, and that was at a place called
That's
Basin
so
on
good.
Magazine Street. Yep. Another story about the kid. My friend Angie, who I love dearly, she's one of my best friends, and she finds all these really high end restaurants that she doesn't go to until I'm buying, until I'm visiting. And she's like, "I want to try this." She's not dumb. She's super hot, and so she, and she's a very dear friend.
Yeah.
But she always sets up these restaurants for us to go to, and so the kid and I got to go to Saint Germain, and then we went to Dookie Chase.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what that Asian
I
Asian
don't
fusion, but
remember,
it was
but that
so
was
good.
good.
But I'll bet in 3 nights, 3 days of eating, I'll bet we spent $1,500 on food. But the story I want to tell is that we went to Dookie Chase, and if you've not been to Dookie Chase, it's the best fried chicken in the entire world. And I like to think that I'm a fried chicken aficionado.
Yeah, you're a connoisseur.
And we were so excited to try it. We ordered this sampler plate that had all of their sides to start with. And that thing was the size of, I don't know. It was like one of those pizzas that you get for free if you eat in 60 minutes, this plate. And then, of course, we all order the chicken special, the chicken plate, which is 3 pieces of chicken and 2 sides. And then they bring by this, was it bread pudding and peach
Oh
cobbler?
my god.
we all
So we all ordered that shit too. And then
we order, all 3 of us order
everything.
both desserts.
Yeah. And then I think it was that night or the next night we went to Saint Germain. And Saint Germain is a very, very cool restaurant that they only do like, I think 12 seatings a night. They do like 1 at 6 and 1 at 8. And they sell out, and you have to make your reservations way in advance, but you don't order. It's just
Yeah.
it's like $250 a person, and you just get what you get. And it's a 5 or 6 course. And the food was amazing. I mean,
Oh,
if you
yeah,
remember,
the food was-
the kid was taking
I
pictures.
remember.
Yeah.
You sent me pictures.
Yeah.
You sent me a lot of pictures.
Yeah, the
Well,
panna cotta was
what she
delicious.
didn't send you is that Angie ordered the wine flight. And I don't know if I can do it into this camera where it does it justice. But my friend Angie would slide, and you were what, 14, 13, 14?
Say,
And my friend Angie would slide the glass of wine over to Ren, and Ren would pick it up and dead shit look me right in the eye and go,
Yep.
and
Well-
put it down and be like, what are you going to do?
You can.
Yeah.
No.
Angie gave it to me. What are you going to do?
Tell me no.
Yeah, right,
Tell
right.
Angie no. No.
Right, yeah. That's so, but yeah, so kid and I, and then we went on a one of my favorite pictures of us together, kid, is at the swamp tour, the alligator tour.
Oh.
And this was deep in the shit of COVID. This was about this time 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was right before we opened the restaurant. So yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I remember when we were there, they had just laid the
We
floor.
had just laid the floor at the restaurant, right? So we were there for Thanksgiving, right? And we had Thanksgiving at. Do you remember the name of the restaurant?
I'm trying to think of it.
We ate Brennan's.
Brennan.
We had this big fancy brunch at Brennan's, and then for Thanksgiving night, Clover Grill. It's that hot hamburger place that cooks them under the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
then
yeah.
you wanted me to try the Bananas Foster.
Yep, Bananas Foster where they
At
did it right.
Brennan's.
Yep, right. Yep.
That was super fun.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I got a call from Brennan's last week, 2 weeks ago, that said, "Hey, are you coming back for new?" They call every Thanksgiving. Every time you make a
okay.
reservation,
Yeah.
they put you in the system.
See.
And I didn't answer it, of course. I saw Brennan's and I cried a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but my favorite picture is you and I at the swamp tour, and it was deep in the shit of COVID. Let's see where we are on 87, so it's
So
slower.
it's
Slower.
But and so we go on the swamp tour and we're wearing masks. And I go to take a picture and I said, "Smile," and the kid's like, "Oh."
fucking dead.
Right when I got the picture, I was like, "Oh, it was the best." It was the best. And we wanted to eat. We ate at the Resurrection on
Yeah.
Spirits on Bourbon because it was on
Bar rescue.
Bar Rescue, and we're
Oh.
eating there, and the kid's like, "I don't think this is very good." I'm like, "It's not very good." And that's when I came up with the rule: never eat on Bourbon Street.
Yep.
Never eat on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
So, but
They're
yeah.
all tourist traps,
Yeah.
touristy stuff.
Well,
You're
yeah.
not gonna get the good nitty gritty. And
Your one rule to me in New Orleans was don't get lost on Bourbon Street. Well,
Right,
one of many,
yeah.
but
Well,
the
I
biggest
remember
one is
on a
don't get
Friday
lost on
night.
Bourbon.
Now it was you have you gone with me twice?
Yeah.
So it was post COVID. It was or when COVID was opened up a little bit,
Yeah.
when things were a little bit heavier. I walked her all the way to I walked the kid from St. Anne, where the apartment was, all the way to Canal down Bourbon to show this is a shit show.
yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was.
It was. Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So all right. So yeah, I had some fun times. I'm trying to think. I know there's others. We oh god, it was so hot when the kid and I were there, and we went to the aquarium just to get out of the fucking heat. It was miserable
Well-
because it would rain. It would pour rain.
And then it'd be hot.
Well,
and
that's where
humid.
when we went to the what museum was it? Was it Sazerac?
Yeah. The Sazerac House. Yeah. The Sazerac Museum. Yeah.
Because I still have all those pictures of you in front of that
And the
wall.
wall of bourbon.
I also have the picture. I remember I think that morning that we were going to the aquarium, we were talking about dating sites, and you were talking about how you hated guys who just fished.
No, that I had connected with a woman that hated guy
Oh, yes.
pictures of people holding fish.
And
So I bought Swedish fish and held up a picture, and she, yeah, it didn't work out. She, there was it was a couple weeks later that I got home, and the basement flooded, and I cut my hand, and she didn't understand that I didn't have time to go on a date.
Oh, was that
Yeah.
that lady's?
Yeah, I'm in the emergency room, and she's texting
Yeah.
me, "Hey, can I come see you tonight?" And I'm like, "I'm in the fucking emergency
Oh,
room," and
oh,
I got 8 inches of water all over my entire basement, and I got dudes hauling my books out, and I don't have time. And she said, "Don't ever treat me like a distraction." I'm like,
you are being a distraction.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
Get surgery on my hand.
Yeah, I'm having a surgeon put my hand back together right now,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, but that was well, whatever.
But the Swedish fish thing was funny.
Yeah, I'm funny. I am a funny guy.
the
I mean, I think that's one of the things that I don't know. I hope you guys had fun. You know, I mean, there were obviously some times that were shit. You know, there are times that were shit, and there were times. I think one of the struggles that I had with Leah was when I was dating your mom. I was good time Paul. I'd pick you up, we'd go to ice cream. I'd pick you up, we'd go to movies. I'd pick you up, we'd go on limo rides. I'd pick you up, we'd go down the Pooter Trail. And then when I moved in, I was like, "Hey, Leah, you need to clean your hamster cage." And you're like, "The fuck are you?" Right? We're good time Paul go.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
what's up with the buzzkill?
Yeah,
No, you
right.
would catch me every time I tried to sneak out, call me out. That was
Well,
later
yeah.
years. It's okay, yeah. But we had lots of good times.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and then
They
and then
definitely outweighed the bad.
when we moved into this house, I think kid you had just turned 2, I think. And you were going back and forth quite a bit to your dad's. We were splitting time with your dad's.
Yeah. so
And you
half
called
the
me
week.
Paul.
Mhm.
And so Ren decides, Well, that's his name,
No,
Paul.
yeah.
And it bothered your mom. It didn't bother me at all. I mean, I called my mom and dad Bonnie and Jim. You know, I remember one time I called my grandma Jackie, Grandma Jackie, and she goes, "Yes, grandson Paul." And I gave her a funny look. She goes, "That sounds stupid, doesn't it? My name's Jackie." I'm like, "Okay."
You got it.
But you would call me Paul, and it bugged your mom to death.
Yeah.
But my other favorite story that came out of you going to your mom and dad's
My
is
invisible
Ren's
family.
other
Oh
family.
yeah. Oh yeah.
My other family.
Your
Yes.
other family was so awesome.
Do you remember the other family? My
Yeah.
other dad
Oh,
has this. My other
I
sister has this. My other
definitely
family
do.
lives over there. My other family has a new car. Yes, it was every day there was something new about your other family.
All I was, Leah had something
I-
different about her. I wanted to
I
go.
know, no, I know. But it was scary how
How
real it was to you.
Convinced? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like you were convinced of that in your mind.
Yeah.
I'm sure for a while.
You're like,
Yeah.
this is the real thing.
Yeah.
My other family would let me do this. That was
Yeah,
the
my
best.
yeah.
You guys won't let me do it, but
My other family will
lets
let me do this. My other family will let me do this.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember. Oh God, where were we? We were going, I think, to JBS for one of your holiday parties, and there was an abandoned house, and I swore that that's where my other family lived.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but it was like I think it kind of spooked everyone involved because I was like, my other family lives there,
Yeah.
and
Do you remember on the way to one of the big carnivals or something at JBS, we had just gotten pedicures, and we were driving and we got in a car accident.
yeah, because there was a crash on the big crash.
So we were on the frontage road and we stopped at a stop sign, and a woman just didn't stop and hit me in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It was in your Tahoe.
it was in my Tahoe, and it damaged her car a lot more than it did the Tahoe. But she didn't have insurance. She borrowed the car. It was a shit show.
She didn't
But
have her driver's license on
yeah.
her.
Yeah, and she was in a hurry.
Right,
She's like, "Can I just go?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, you can't go. You just hit my car."
Oh yeah.
right, and all the yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
remember that.
So JBS was a fun. I think we went to a couple Christmas parties there where they did the Christmas Santa stuff. That was always fun.
First time I went on a horse ride that I remember, horse-drawn carriage, because they had them.
Oh, did I? I did remember that. Yeah, yeah.
They had really good food.
Yeah.
Lots of meat products.
I remember when I was working at the chamber. This is on the topic of my jobs. I was working at the Chamber of Commerce, and they had just made a change in leadership of the chamber, and they were weeding people out, and I was one of the few that was kept. And I was trying real hard. I was working 60 hours a week for $25,000 a year, and it just was. I didn't have the money that I'm making now, and I remember one day you and your mom came in, and that's the day I found out I was going to be a dad.
Yeah.
You remember coming
remember
in?
making the card.
And that's probably my fondest memory of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a fun job. It was a fun job. And you know what? Had I been at a different spot in my life, it would have been great, but I can't work 60 hours with two kids and, for $26,000. But it was a lot of fun. And I think we did a lot of fun stuff through the chamber. I mean, we stopped by the chamber before we went home with you to show you off before we even went to the house.
It was fun to walk around in there, and everyone was nice. All the little
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that's what it was. It was all the little old ladies. So your old man's always been popular with the
Been
old,
good
little
with
old
the
ladies.
old
Yeah, with the little old ladies. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of those first several shows that I did were for,
For like
retired teachers
Yeah,
groups or
yeah.
tennis clubs or, stitching groups and
Yeah.
book clubs and that kind of shit. Little old ladies love that shit.
definitely because you're funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They appreciate it.
All right, let's hit something else on your list. And
Oh yeah. We've done a lot. We've talked about a lot.
all right, well, I got.
mostly
go
have
ahead.
like some questions about like what your favorite cocktails are and the evolution from your craft beer to like the Coors Light and like.
Well, I'll
have
tell you,
some
I just-
questions
I-
about like alcohol and stuff.
Why
but-
was it weird, Ren,
kind of-
that Leah would be bringing up booze at
Huh?
4:00 on the
I don't
Monday
know
afternoon?
if
She's already
anyone
drinking a
is-
beer, right?
I
Right.
don't know if anyone's.
So
I
I
drank a beer before.
because you guys talked about Sazerac too, and
Yeah.
it's like.
Well,
Sazerac?
Sazerac was invented in New Orleans, and it's the company that owns Buffalo Trace and Pappy and E.H. Taylor and those kind of things. Well, I wasn't much of a drinker. I when I met your mom, I didn't
remember
drink,
you didn't drink at all.
Mhm,
Yeah.
and I quit drinking on my 25th birthday. Not because I thought I had a problem, but just because I was watching it really fuck with some of my people. And I just decided to see if I could quit. And I did. It was not that big a deal. Well, then I met Bill Gurman, and he was a home brewer. So I started trying beer. Well, then because of the ADD and the OCD and the kind of person I am, what better do I do when like craft beer, I buy a brewery, right? I mean, hey, I like this. Should I buy a brewery? Okay. And I learned so much about beer, owning a brewery. I also learned a lot about people. And then we started aging beer in whiskey barrels. So I figured I ought to know about bourbon. So I flew to Las Vegas and took that class on bourbon and came back a bourbon expert. And the guy there said, I asked him, because I tried a couple of the Pappy Van Winkles in this class. And I said, how hard would it be to build this collection? And the guy says, oh, that'd be damn near impossible. And I said, want to bet? So in a month, I had at least 2 bottles of every Pappy Van Winkle made. And we drank the shit out of those. I mean, I think you were there. We drank a bunch of the Pappies, and they're great, but they're fine. I mean, there's a lot better whiskeys. But then I'll tell you, Leah, in the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I just don't like drinking that much anymore. And I grew up in a Miller Lite house. My dad always drank Miller Lite. And I just, the smell of it has something for me. Yeah. It just has a little bit of, and so we were somewhere and they had a choice between Bud, and I've never been a Bud Light drinker. I've never liked the taste of it. I've never liked Bud or Bud Light. And it was Miller Lite, and I had one, and I'm like, fuck. So that's kind of what I've been drinking for now is Miller Lite. And I can also drink 6 or 7 of them and not feel bad, not feel like,
Feel full,
and not be drunk. So, but yeah, I
remember we used to drink a little bit more. I base like a lot of my drinking off of what I've learned and stuff like craft beers, and cocktails and fun stuff like that. But I've noted. I mean, you pointed it out too that you're like, I kind of like the lighter stuff now. So.
I just don't like to drink as much as I used to.
Evolution. I mean, but that's yeah.
And I also am terrified. I am also terrified of getting a DUI. I mean, and it's real, and we know what it can do to people, or God forbid I get in an accident.
Right.
And with Uber, I'm fine, and with Kid now driving, I'm fine. But I just don't like being drunk anymore. There was a time that I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get fucked up, and now it's like, oh man, I can't wait to get in bed. Yeah, I can't wait to have coffee or tea in the morning, and read the news, and I don't know, maybe I'm turning old. I don't know. I don't think so. Another thing I want to talk to you both about is books have been a big deal in our life. Books have been huge. And Kid and I would read the same book 40 or 50 times. We read Blueberry Girl. Until you memorized it. And then what were some of the other ones? Bad Kitty. We'd read the Bad Kitty books. And then don't worry, I'm not going to get off the hook about the classics. I remember that we were going to continue that from yesterday. But I remember one of the proudest moments I had with you, Leah, is when I had you read I Am Legend. And we sat down and talked about it, and you kind of got the vibe of what it was about. And then I told you, it's about the Cold War. It's the Cold War. And you just had this realization. And I don't know, I remember where I was when I had that realization, that books aren't necessarily the story they're telling. That there's a much bigger message in it. And I think that hit with you that like, oh man, this book was written in the early 50s, and it's so much more than a guy who doesn't get the virus and is trying to kill vampires.
Right. Yeah. It's so awesome. And then I still haven't seen I Am Legend, the movie.
Well, it sucks.
Yeah,
They've done it 3 times. They've done it 3 times. The first one's called Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. It's great. The second one is called Omega Man. And it's, if anybody out there's watched these, chime in and tell me which one your favorite. The second one's called Omega Man with Charlton Heston. And it's the most closely aligned with the book. The third one's with Will Smith, and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I guess that's the one that I just haven't seen.
I mean, I remember I was so excited to go see it in the theater. I think we went with like 15 people that had all read the book. And I remember my friend Spencer Dunn sat next to me, and as soon as it started and something went, and he looks at me and goes, oh man, I'm sorry. And he goes, this is why I don't read books. They fuck up my movies. But he had known that it had taken a turn. Yeah. It wasn't the same. Yeah. So yeah, but what are some other books that we've shared in our life?
A lot of Stephen King.
Yeah, a lot of Stephen King.
My love for Stephen King is from you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I read a whole bunch of those.
I think, Kid, you read a bunch of Neil Gaiman. You were Neil Gaiman, some of his children's books.
I don't think I've ever read Stephen King. I tried to listen to it.
Yeah, that's heavy.
It's heavy.
It's a heavy book.
Hard.
I mean,
the first 30 pages about the carnival and
it's a heavy book.
The gay couple at the carnival is hard.
Yeah. And the book, I mean, I can only think of one case where the movie is better than the book. And I've talked to the author about it, and he agrees, so I don't feel bad saying it. I think Chuck Palahniuk's Fight Club. The book is great, but I think the movie's 10 times better than the book.
The movie is amazing. I've never read the.
But the book is great. The book is great, but even Chuck Palahniuk will say they did it better.
Have you?
So. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brad Pitt. We'll watch it. That would be
Ed
fun.
Norton.
It would be really fun to watch.
My favorite line, and I don't remember. I don't remember if this is in the movie or in the book, but it's in one and not the other. Hella Bonham Carter's character, the girl.
Yeah. I
don't remember her name.
No.
Anyway, the girl's character.
Yes. Yeah.
She comes out from having sex with Tyler Durden in the soap house, and she says, "I haven't been fucked like that since the 3rd grade." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that is." I mean, there's lines that Chuck Palahniuk has written, and I'm a huge, your uncle Tom and I flew to San Francisco to meet Chuck Palahniuk and hang out with him, and he had a really fun mail-in thing that he used to do for his fans before he was this. He's huge, but not big, and he promised if you wrote to him in this certain amount of time, he would write you back. So the question for the period that I did was, tell us something that you thought was going to turn out terrible, but it ended up turning out okay. And so I told the story of the kid, and I sent a picture of you wearing the Hunter Thompson onesie that Hunter's widow sent for you. I got a nice gift package from Hunter Thompson's widow and it had a little onesie in it and some books and some T-shirts. And it was that. And then like 2 years later, your Uncle Tom and I are in San Francisco and we're talking to him, and Tom says, "Hey, Paul, see if he remembers the write-in thing." And Chuck Palahniuk says, Did you write in? And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "What was your story?" And I said, "Oh, it was about my kid that we didn't think was going to make it. There was some brain trouble, and then she turned out to be amazing." And he said your name, and he remembered. And then he told me Happy Father's Day. And he had sent this great box of stuff. And so I don't know how we got on that, but books. I think every time I got a Stephen King signed limited, I'd buy one for you. And too bad you didn't have renter's insurance. You'd have a huge check.
Flood insurance,
Yep.
insurance,
Yep.
all insurance.
Yep. Fucking hurricane.
Ian.
So music's another one. We talked a little bit yesterday about music. I think I've been a pretty good influence on your music tastes.
I think between music, books, and movies, I mean, like we're a media family, kind of.
Yeah.
Books, media.
So, kid, let's talk. You want to talk classics or Comic-Con?
Oh.
You get to pick because you're starting it.
Well, we can talk about classics.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of, because there was 2 categories. There was the books, and then there was the songs.
I would sing to you every night before we go to bed, and I did it gladly. I think I put you to sleep probably the majority of the time at night, and there was no complaints. I did it gladly, and I would change the words to songs.
Yeah.
And Pure Prairie League by the song Amy by Pure Prairie League. I would say Lily, which was the name you used to have, and She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain.
Yep.
Was Whatever We Did That Day.
Yeah.
She'll be helping Dad grocery shop. Yeah.
Yep.
It would be that. Yep. And then
That's cute.
then there's a story that you want. When I was a little kid, I met Superman or Spider-Man. Do you remember this at the Greeley Mall?
Yes.
And the helicopter came over and he slid down a rope out of the helicopter.
Cool.
It was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's
And I
cool.
told the kid, because the kid said, is Spider-Man real? And I said, I met him. And so we came up with this story that was about Spider-Man and Dora on Pygmy Island, and the helicopter would fly over Pygmy Island, and Spider-Man would slide down.
Forgot about this. Yeah.
Yep. That was the story. And then the other story, which of course was absolutely one of my favorites, is about Bowie's job.
Oh, Bowie's job.
That Bowie would go to work every day. And I didn't know this until Kid told me that Bowie told her he went to work every day. And one day the kid says Bowie got fired from his job today. Now tell the audience what Bowie did. Yeah. What was Bowie's job?
Well, Bowie he used his skateboard, and every day he went to the post office.
He worked at the post office. He was a mail sorter at the post office.
He was a mail sorter at the post office.
Now Bowie was a boxer. Now Bowie was a dog.
Right.
So.
Right. That's
yeah.
And
Funniest part.
yeah.
But
And,
do you remember why he got fired?
no.
I do.
Leah, why did he get fired?
Didn't he have hamburgers?
He had hamburgers in his pockets. Yep.
Yeah. I remember.
He snuck hamburgers to work in his pockets, and they fired him for having hamburgers in his pockets. Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Yep.
I remember that.
Well, because I think that wasn't just a hey dad, Bowie got fired. It was like everyone.
No,
Bowie
it
got
was yeah.
fired from his job.
So another big proclamation that the kid made. I remember it was high chair day, so that's how early it was, and we're sitting at the table and the TV's on, and Leah knows exactly where I'm going, and Leah keeps turning the channel. I think we were watching like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody or something,
Yeah,
you know.
something during dinner.
And kid says, "Hey, Leah, will you turn the channel?" And Leah's, "Dun-it. Hey, will you turn the channel on something else?" The kid says, "Leah, I have asked you very nicely. Will you please turn the fucking channel?" And we all look up in this like complete shock and start laughing. And the kid's like, "I'm serious. Don't laugh."
I want the channel change.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was so funny.
Well, I remember, God, I'm trying to think of when the first time it was. I think it was you, and it was you and your friends, but I'm just trying to think of who it was. But I had to have been, I don't know, probably 3 or 4, and Leah would be like, "Oh, guys, this is so cool. Ren, what's the F word?"
Yeah.
And then I would say it, and her friends
You'd
would
all
laugh. And then she'd just keep asking me. And I was like, I wanted to be cool. I wanted to hang out with you guys.
I was telling Paul the other day about how I sprayed you with holy water. And he said it fizzed.
So I posted the picture of Smurfette.
Yeah.
And I got flagged for obscenity and nudity on Facebook and issued a warning. So somewhere I'll figure out a way to post this, or maybe I can send it if you want. The kid got, Leah got some sidewalk paint, and the kid had just white blonde hair when they were little. And in the diaper, Leah painted her blue with blonde hair, and she was Smurfette. And so I have a picture of her standing in my driveway in a diaper, painted blue. And Facebook
Didn't like that.
didn't like that.
I mean, you were a Smurf.
Yeah.
We had some good times together.
Well, and you know what? One of the things I remember about you guys growing up is your mom made you guys the coolest Halloween costumes. She worked
Yeah.
really hard on Halloween costumes.
Halloween has just always been a really great,
Yeah.
holiday for us. It's been awesome.
All right,
It was fun
Comic-Con.
to help make Halloween
Comic-Con.
costumes too.
Yeah. Good segue.
So, and actually, I posted on my
definitely.
Facebook page today the picture that Soydon took of me. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, the Comic-Con one where I was doing my show
Cheyenne.
at Cheyenne Comic-Con, where I have my hands up like this. And Soydon said, "I'm not saying it's boobies, but it's boobies." Yeah, Soydon.
Yeah.
I love that guy. So what are your Comic-Con memories, or some of the, I mean, I think the first Comic-Con we went to, I took you and your Uncle
we
Tom, and I went
went
to the
to-
Denver one. And
Yeah,
we
that was a
met,
lot
and we
of
got
fun.
Tron's signature for your dad, and it was just overwhelming.
It was really big. It was a lot.
Well, then the three of us went to the Oddities Festival a couple years ago, and you guys put your hair,
That was cool.
you put your hair in the Guinness Book of World Records,
We
giant
took
ball of hair.
the bug pinning class. Was that? At
Yeah,
the
you guys did the
Oddities?
bug petting class. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the afternoon or the next day is when I got my death head moth tattoo, because I couldn't find a death head moth at the, yeah. And they had those
the place.
those animals. Remember those dead like dogs and
When
wolves?
walking through the
And then just the people were holding them like, it's creepy as
Well,
shit.
that vegan taxidermist that you found.
Yeah,
that did the
Yeah,
hand.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That place was really awesome.
Yeah.
I
That
was
liked it a lot.
So, kiddo, what about Comic-Cons?
I'm trying to think of the first. I think the first Comic-Con we went to was either Fort Collins or Cheyenne. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it would have been. I think it was probably Fort Collins, because it was just one of those things that was like, "Hey, you want to go?" This is
Well, and that's where I met my friend Alexis, who I don't remember her, Spiderella, who does that late night horror show, and then I did that show for out of that it came that show for public
Oh,
TV
right.
in Fort Collins.
Arachna, the
Arachne, the Spider
Queen.
Queen. Yes.
That was at Fort Collins.
Yeah, and then I got invited to the Comic-Con in Cheyenne, and I performed and lectured at the Comic-Con in Cheyenne, and I did that two years.
Because the second year I did that panel with
Yep.
that woman.
Yeah, about cosplay.
About
Yeah,
cosplay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I won the costume contest. If
Yeah.
you remember, I won first
Yeah.
place in the costume contest.
Was it with Voltron?
No, it was Veronica Sawyer from Heathers.
Oh, right. So the kid made a great Voltron costume, and we went down to a anime festival. And my favorite part of the anime festival was I was walking around with the kid, and you know, I mean, you were 13 or 14, and I'm walking around with the kid, and the kid's like, "So, Dad, does the TV up? It was at a hotel, and we were staying there. They just said something like, "Does the TV upstairs have movies on it?" I said, yeah. And she goes, I wonder what movies are on that. You should go see if there's a movie.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, kid, you want to hang out by yourself? I'll let you. I'll let you.
You should go see
But that's where we found, some very fun shows because they had those movie rooms.
Yep.
That we
Oh my
would
God.
go
And I never realized how sexual anime is and how, I'm trying to think how and I'm not a prude by any means, but how objectifying it is to young women. I mean, and watching some of these young women walk around the convention it was a little bit terrifying, you know. I mean, but on the other hand, I'm a bit of a scumbag, so it was titillating,
Right.
terrifying, you know. I mean, so but that's so yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what else. I think we've hit a lot of things.
We've done lots of really cool stuff. Learned lots of cool stuff. Yeah, what's your?
We're at 82, so it is.
I think dropping. It's doing okay. I mean, it is,
but it's not dropping
at a reasonable rate for running all your stuff.
I'd say it's not as fast as it was dropping yesterday.
Well, hopefully the new computer will when we get it all set up, it'll be better. So I apologize to everybody that has to listen to this in 2 parts, if anybody listens, but whatever. But yeah, the new banner is up behind the guests, and we're going to have another one behind me for the next show and try to make it. I've had a couple people that were on the show, and then a couple people that listen to it have asked if they could come down and record podcasts here because they like the setup, how it's at the bar.
It's awesome. Yeah, your bar is really cool.
And so if you're local and you're interested in recording a podcast, I have this really cool setup. All I ask is you bring your own computer and you set up your own OBS system and maybe get your own banner or come up with something. But the system's here and it works and I know how to do it. Another thing is I don't have any shows planned between now and mid-January. I'll be in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the East Coast Spirit Sessions. I'll be doing my Imaginary Friend show, the whole Imaginary Friend show, and then performing in the big gala show, the big headliner show. And I'll be doing my voodoo touch routine, my voodoo doll routine, which is I did it for the first time a couple weeks ago in Little Rock, Arkansas with the new, awesome. And I'm very proud of it. I need to get it written down. The problem with doing it for magicians is some of them are going to steal it because they're shitty. Magicians are shitty people. And so kiddo, yesterday you talked a little bit about wanting to be a special ed teacher when you grow up.
Yeah.
Leah, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I have no idea.
No
clue.
That's fine.
I've been a server for a while. I don't want to be a server forever.
Well, if anybody has any questions, pop in because I think we're going to wrap this up here shortly. But if you have any questions, please. My kiddos are really, really a big deal to me. And as I mentioned yesterday, all I ever wanted to be when I was a kid, primarily was a dad. And then after that was a stand-up comedian.
Well, and definitely one.
Yep.
You have lots of fun jokes.
I used to tape record Saturday Night Live with a tape player and I re-listen because my mom and dad wouldn't let me watch it, but they'd let me listen to it the next day. Oh. I listened to vinyl albums of people like Bill Hicks and George Carlin at my Aunt Carrie's house in Fort Morgan. And
you could have done that. Your life, I mean, how different do you think your life would have been if you went?
Well, imagine how different my life would have been had I stuck with being a teacher.
Yeah.
Or had I, when I worked for, in grad school, I quit grad school to go to work for a U.S. congressman who was a far right, this was the 104th Congress, the Newt Gingrich Revolution. And I worked for a very conservative, congressman. Yeah. I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but I had this discussion just last night with a friend that I was college Republican chairman at UNC. I used to be a Republican. Yeah. And I voted mostly on economics. The social issues weren't that important to me until Sandy Hook. And I take the, and your mom's pointed this out recently when a school shooting, those bother me more than anything. School shootings bother me more than anything because I sent you 2 girls for your entire lives to school every day in hopes that things would be safe. And and that's when it changed. Sandy Hook is when it changed. And I thought, okay, I need to start refocusing. And it was weird for a lot of people. And this is maybe a topic for when Roth and I talk, but I had some friends that remember me as a pretty staunch conservative. I'm like, what's happened? You've changed. And I'm like, well, we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a great picture cartoon I saw one time that had a caterpillar having tea with a butterfly. And the caterpillar looks at the butterfly and says, man, you've changed. And the butterfly says, I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And, as you get exposed to, we saw, if you remember, I don't know if you remember in Greece, on the bus ride after the Parthenon, we saw some of the worst poverty we've ever seen in our lives. And we think poverty is, that you get, your Wix card, or that you have to get,
Yeah.
food
like
bank.
food
This is
stamps
poverty
yeah.
that they don't know if they're going to make it through the day, And then I was in Peru and Bolivia a couple years ago with the Ancient Alien guys, and I saw poverty that was just it's caused by the church, and it's just maddening. And I've I don't know, but yeah, I was college Republican chairman. I don't know how we got on this. Oh, imagine if I would have gone to work for Bob Schaefer. I had a job offer. I had an offer to go work for in Washington D.C. and I was living with my girlfriend
Yeah,
Jennifer
me
at the time,
too.
and I got talked out of it. I think Jennifer had
By your
lunch with my mom and
parents.
dad, and they conspired to keep me from doing it. And I always wonder what would happen.
Yeah. Oh, and I wonder why. Like why
They didn't want me to go
they
away.
just didn't want.
They didn't want me to leave.
She didn't want you to leave.
Well, I don't think anybody wanted me to leave. I mean, Leah, if you haven't figured out, I'm pretty fucking awesome.
No one wanted you to go to.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's only a couple people in my life that I know that wanted me to leave, and I
That's
didn't
fine.
work out. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's about it. So what anybody any questions? We're gonna wrap this up. I think we've got a few people still watching. Any questions, kiddo?
No
Any parting words?
parting words.
Well, we'll come back. Leah, any questions? Anything? Just scan down the list. Anything we didn't
I
hit.
know. Yeah. I was like.
While we're here, we may as well hit this and get it recorded for
Uh-huh.
posterity.
I know. Yeah. I just had like fire pits were a great time, but I had pretty much everything on here. And you're gonna cover a few things, or a lot of the things I think that aren't on here, but questions that I have, like about your childhood and
Well,
about
ask
you
away. I
growing
mean,
up
you
and
can
like
ask some
you
things and
working
it'll
and
yeah.
stuff. But you're gonna do it with Ryan Roth.
Well, I mean,
so,
it'll be a different show. So we got let's take a couple minutes and
Yeah,
ask me
like
ask me two.
So okay, so one that goes with my favorite card trick that you
Mhm.
can't do
The
ever
Skeleton
again.
Kings one?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Skeleton Kings one was what's the first step? What's the thought process in coming up with one of your giant routines with all of your fun
Well, it's usually a
stories
story.
and-
Usually it's a story.
So you
And yeah,
start
usually it's a
there.
story. Or well, sometimes it's a prop.
Mhm.
I bought a routine. And this is actually this is gonna be the first one in the book. Vic Nadada, my dear friend, one of my favorite people in my life, came out here a couple months ago and we worked through it and he wrote it down. It's gonna be the first one that I publish. And I bought a prop where the reveal was a license plate. And I thought how stupid it was, the reveal, but what a great method to get a license plate reveal. So I changed the whole thing. I don't know if you remember, you probably remember when I found a truck and I put it on a truck and took a Polaroid picture of
yes,
it.
It was
I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
the
yeah,
truck
yeah,
outside
yeah,
of Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to try to make it through the whole
remember
show
that.
without mentioning mentioning her because it puts bad voodoo on people. But I made the whole trick about the Zodiac killer. And so I took a trick that I didn't like the reveal and did that. So yeah, it's I think it's based in my history, my love of history and horror and
Yeah, I'd
murders.
say history plays like a giant part in all of your, or in most of your shows
Yeah.
and most of them. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if you have
Yeah, kiddo,
like,
you wrote
certain
something down.
events or certain stuff.
Well, I just wrote down. Do you remember? I don't remember who was down here. Was it Vic? That we went down to El Cielo and you guys came
Yeah, that was
up
Vic. Yeah.
with
Did you hear the story?
I was telling
Yeah.
Leah about it.
Just
The
today.
card game.
Loteria
Yeah.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sat there for a good hour and a half, and Vic and I just murdered this idea about these just based on the menu.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
The menu had the loterias that are loteria, they're the lottery ticket, the lottery cards, where there's I don't remember. There's
It's a Mexican bingo.
it's a
game.
bingo game, yeah, and then you get the boards and you draw the cards, and it's
Oh, okay. Of like the pictures.
Yeah,
And they have
yeah.
like
The little cartoon- the little drawing
names.
things. Yep, yep.
I'll
Yeah.
show you.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
I do know.
yeah.
We used to play that. in
and it's
school.
on the menu of El Cielo. And Vic and I, so we asked him. I had never seen them. Well, I'd seen them, but I didn't know what they were. And Vic had never seen them. I mean, Vic's from North Carolina. I don't think they have Mexicans in North Carolina. And so we asked the waitress, and she told us all about it. And we're looking them up, and we're like, Vic and I just hammered out some amazing ideas that probably will never go anywhere, but we'll see. But that was fun. It was fun to have the kids just sitting there watching this, and I had no idea that the kid was even
Because
paying
after
attention.
we were done with the podcast yesterday and we went to Ambrosia and we were driving after, I'm like, oh, El Cielo. And you were
And
pretty
I was-
cute.
yeah,
You
I
were
was
like,
talking to
El
Leah.
Cielo always have a
Yeah.
special place in my heart
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
you
it was-
guys
yeah.
created like a
Well, like I said, nothing
Whole
ever came
magic
out of it,
show.
but maybe it will. I mean, you know, that's
could.
kind of 99% of the ideas I have never go anywhere.
But like you said, you have a method.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was what it was. I mean, that day I had no idea about these, and then but Vic and I came up with some great
Yeah.
routines. We gave some great ideas. So maybe I'll follow up.
Yeah.
I was gonna go see Vic for Thanksgiving, but I'm not. Some things are keeping me here. So,
Around.
yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. Again, this will be on for anybody that's still watching. It'll be on all the podcast channels this week. My next show is on Sunday, the December 4th, and it's going to be my friends Chris Arias and Gia Storga from the Best of Five podcast. Leah and I went and watched G play guitar the other night, and G dedicated a song to me.
Power.
So I gave him a big kiss on stage, and G is they are very instrumental in this show and the success of the show. I had the little one, during COVID that was poorly produced, and I got drunk everyone, and I just had so much fun recording the one. If you are interested, go to Best of Five podcast on all the things, and I'm in special episode. I think it's really like 80 something. I don't know, but we decided to call it episode 666.
Nice.
And I coined it. I said something that they recorded, and it's now part of every show. It's a button. It's one of these buttons on their board, and it's my voice saying "fuck that guy," and that has become a thing. And we'll talk more about it when they're on in 2 weeks. I've got a couple others that I'm building. I mentioned in part one of this, I was contacted by a woman that lives in Oregon that is running for president in 2024, and she's very eccentric, and I'm waiting on some other things. I need to figure out a few ways on how to video her in, and that'll be fun. I've got a friend, Madeline, from Fort Morgan, who is a clairvoyant, a mind reader, and a psychic. And I'm gonna have her come down and see if I can pull some of these things off the shelf, and she can tell me a little bit about the real stories behind them. I've got a lead, and I think I told you this maybe on the part one. I don't remember. It was a whole 24 hours ago, on a legitimate sex worker, a high class escort calling in. And now that we know how to do the phone, we can do that. So, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you want to be a guest and you've got something interesting, I've got a guy from Fort Collins that keeps sending me messages every time I ask for guests. And he says, I've got a lot of good stories to tell. You should have me on. I'm like, well, bro, I mean,
You've got lots of good stories.
I got lots of good stories. I could fill 90 minutes by myself, Oh, and then the other episode that I know is on the schedule, and I hope to have the schedule posted here shortly, is my friend Ryan Roth is gonna interview me, and
I'm excited about that.
that'll be a lot of fun. And I'm not gonna know the questions ahead of time.
Good.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Usually when I interview people, I ask them, is there anything? And I'd ask you guys, is there anything you don't want to talk about? Is there anything? I had Bobby Liebling on, the lead singer of the doom metal band Pentagram, who is a dear friend. I talk to him every so often. He made me a couple videos for the fundraising for Dancing with the Stars, and I had him on, and it's well documented his heroin addiction. And I asked him, do you want to talk about it? And he says no. And I said okay. And the movie about him, Last Days Here, they document his marriage. I said, do you want to talk about marriage? And he goes, no. I said, okay, I won't. I'll cross those off. We'll talk about music, and that's pretty much it. And in the first 5 minutes, he brings up being an addict, and he brings up his ex-wife, and it's like, fuck, Bobby. I love you, but you told me not to do it because I had a bunch of questions. So, but yeah, so if you're out there and you're interested in being on the show, if you have something interesting to talk about, the show, the first couple episodes, or the first season, I guess, the one during COVID, was mainly based on supernatural and spooky and paranormal and magic. But I've decided that one of the things I want to do on this is, and this is an idea that came from my friend Dacre Stoker, the author and great grandnephew of Bram Stoker from Dracula. He said that he said, you're so good at conversations, and that it doesn't feel like an interview. It feels like a conversation. And he said, you've got all these amazing friends all over. You should just tell stories of the people you've come across. I feel very braggy in saying this, but I have an extraordinary life, and the life is because of the people I know. I've this year, 2022, I've been able to go to, I don't know, 15 new cities, 12 new cities. I got to spend some time with my dear friend Vince Wilson in Baltimore and Virginia, And then I went to visit Calvin Von Crush and Jules, who did a birthday tarot reading for you, my friend Jules, in Meriden, Connecticut. And we had just picked up tons of grave dirt. I got to spend time with Prater and Sarah a couple times. I got to go to Atlanta and spend a couple of amazing days in Atlanta. I've gotten to go a lot of places and hang out with some pretty amazing people. And these are the stories I want to tell.
Yeah.
And this is part of my goal that when I'm long gone, that you guys will have something to say, so that I may have had my physical death, but my name's still being told. So if you guys have any ideas too, let me know. If you have any ideas of people on, I think I'll probably have Skip on too.
That would be a blast.
Skip and I did a surprise pop-up episode of Best of Five a couple months ago. And I was leaving the next morning at like 6 a.m. to go somewhere. I don't remember where I was going. It may have been one of my Atlanta trips. And I'm sitting having a beer with G at Tighten It, formerly known as Bricks. I ought to have Tommy from Tighten It on too. He's a good dude. And G's like, oh shit, we got to record an episode. Do you want to be on it? And right then his phone rings and it says Skip. And I answered and I said, hey, Skip, it's Paul. You want to do a podcast? And he's like, I'll be on my way. So we just popped up and did this podcast. And and we went till, I don't know, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I had a flight. A flight was out at 6 a.m.
No. Yeah.
But those are stories.
But those are,
those are stories.
fun. That's
So I think I'll
fun
have
to
Skip
your
on.
reflection.
Just what are some other, there are some pretty amazing people locally. But there's also some really shitty people locally that have asked to be on. And well, fuck them. I don't want to,
Well, maybe if you ask to be on, then that's the way not to
Yeah.
get on.
Yeah, but this woman that's running for president asked to be on, and I really want to have her. I really want to have her on. I'm just amazed, and this is, and she's listening, and she doesn't want to do it after this. I just am always amazed by these fringe candidates that run. And I'll ask her about this. Is it I'm amazed by why we talked about this on part one, why anybody would want to be fucking president of the United States. It's an ego thing.
know.
But do fringe candidates this woman's very nice, and I read her platform and I agree with her on everything. I agree with her on everything she says. Every single point I agree with her on. She's probably not going to get on the ballot anywhere other than maybe Oregon.
Wyoming.
No, well, she definitely won't get on in Wyoming. But is she going to travel? How is she going to get? How is she going to get her message
it
out?
costs a lot of money.
And
to
it's
run for president.
millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And can you affect change? Is there better ways to affect change locally by running for county commissioner or running for city council to affect change than wasting your time and your efforts on an ego project, on a vanity project to say you ran for president of the United States? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she thinks there's something I don't know.
Didn't Tiger King try to run for president?
I'm sure. My first campaign I ever worked on was a presidential campaign, and it was Senator Phil Gramm. And he ran, there was 9 Republicans running for president, and the nomination eventually went to Bob Dole, who lost to Bill Clinton. And I worked for Senator Phil Gramm, and I really believe, he's now turned out to be kind of a terrible person, but I really believe that he believed he had the power to change, and I think he did. And I think Bob Dole believed he had the power to change. And I believe, when I was in Arkansas 2 weeks ago, we went to the Bill Clinton Presidential Library, and I know that, I was a hardcore Republican then, so he was the bad guy, but I really believe those guys, they really wanted to affect change, and they really believed they had a positive effect. And then we get Donald Trump, who doesn't give a shit about us. It's kind of like, there was a guy from Greeley Central who made it to the Major League Baseball, and he played for the Rockies, and he got kicked off for fighting at the Rockies and got sent down to the minors. He worked his way back up, and he got traded to Pittsburgh, I think. And then he got traded to the Yankees. And I remember I was at a Chamber of Commerce deal, and Troy Coverdale, who did the sports for KFK radio, said, hey, did you hear he got traded to the Yankees? And I just was heartbroken, because Babe Ruth is a Yankee. Mickey Mantle was a Yankee. Lou Gehrig was a Yankee. Don Mattingly was a Yankee. Aaron Judge now is a Yankee. Derek Jeter. No, he was a shithead, and he was a troublemaker. And I said, this guy he's not a Yankee. And that's what I feel about president. I didn't vote for Obama. Whatever, he won, so it doesn't matter. I didn't vote, actually. I didn't vote in the second election. I didn't like any one of them. John Kerry was rude to me once. I met him in Denver, and John Kerry was rude. So I didn't vote for him in the primary.
Oh.
So yeah.
Didn't you write someone in?
Oh, Kid and I wrote in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Bush election. John Kerry. I'm sorry. That's why I voted for Bush, because you were running against. So we wrote. That was that year that I wrote in. We wrote in Peter Griffin and Pete Rose, and I
Yeah,
tweeted.
and Pete
Back when I
Rose,
was on
yeah.
Twitter, I tweeted a picture of Pete Rose that I vote for Pete Rose, and he retweeted it. And I thought, oh, God bless Pete Rose. But I just, Donald Trump. You look back at the presidents we've had, and some of them were assholes, and some of them were very ineffective. But I think they were all presidential.
Yeah. They all
And Trump is a
cared
carnival
about
barker.
them.
I mean, he's the guy. He's the Bob Barker character from The Running Man. I mean, he's just, and it's just it brings embarrassment to the job. And I don't know how anybody would want to be president after that guy's shit on the office, But whatever. I'll ask this woman why she wants to be president.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to know.
all right. Well, hour and 26,
Wow.
and
It doesn't feel like
I was
that.
gonna
Yeah.
say.
and we're at 78%, so it worked.
So weird. So yeah, something
Yeah.
was going on
Yeah.
yesterday.
Well, it's also plugged in, and it's. I mean, so it's maintained. It's charging as we go. So yesterday wasn't plugged in because I had the
gotcha.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So So 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from yesterday, G and Chris from Best of Five, and then I'm going to set the schedule for the rest. I'm going to have a woman who's running for president. I'm going to be interviewed. My friend Madeline, the psychic, sex worker, maybe Skip. We'll see what else. I'm booking some holiday parties. I've got some openings if you guys are interested in some shows. I talked to a woman the other day about a birthday party in January. I'm not traveling enough. I'm not traveling for a while. The next trip I have planned is South Carolina in Martin Luther King weekend for a convention, but I'll be around. I think that's about it. So, kiddo, parting words.
I don't have any.
So let's talk. I mean, for a second about your you were recognized at, I think it was at Kristen McCall School, about being a huge person that inclusivity and making sure that everybody was part of it. There was a terrible tragedy yesterday in Colorado Springs where the LGBTQ club called Q was shot up, and that's part of your world. I mean, that's very dear to your heart. So that's, do you have anything? I mean, do you any websites or any social media that you want to shout out where people can help out? Or, I mean, I'm sure you know of some.
I know there's fundraisers, but I don't know of
Okay.
where.
Okay. Well, just go do something. Go do something. The what is the saying? And I'm going to butcher it. The tyranny is mostly supported by people that do nothing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Bystanders.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, and if
But
enough,
you're not bystander.
well, but
No,
enough-
she's an advocate. Kid's an
Yeah,
advocate, and that's an ally and an advocate. So
If you have, I guess my parting words would be: if you have a stance, do something about it. There's enough people in the world who have stances, even in in politics and voting. I've been learning about this in my government, but there's enough people who take a stance. They're either Democratic or Republican or third party, but they don't vote. You don't do anything if you don't vote. You can't make change with that. So, be the change that
Yep.
you want.
yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Leah. Any parting words?
Well, we'll go off of horrible things like the Hurricane, super sucked, super horrible for a lot of people and everything. But it did bring me here, and I would never have gotten this opportunity to do this without that. So there are silver linings in everything.
All right.
I
Well,
think people should hold on to it.
happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we'll be
Thanksgiving.
back.
Thanksgiving.
I think I might do a couple pop-ups every once in a while when I have some friends over. Just hop on, because as Ryan ruins everything figured out the other day, it is really fun to talk into microphones.
It is so much fun.
It is so
And
much
to
fun.
wear
And to wear the headset, and my
it's
buddy
really
Vic and I
fun.
just sat here I think we sat here. The computer wasn't even on. We just had the board on, and we just talked to each other through. It was just
Through
it was
microphones.
so much fun. It was so much
Yeah.
fun. So, so Baba Booey to you all, and I love you guys. You guys, I hope that's one thing you carry forward, is how much you guys meant to me, and that you are the greatest successes I've had, and so don't fuck that up. I mean, as I told you, kid, and I'm sure I told you, you're my gift to the world. I mean, you guys are what's going to carry me on. I'm not going to get any trophies or buildings named after me. So you guys are going to be the legacy of my stories and hopefully the good I did, for people and the kindness I shared and the hopefully generosity that people understood that I had. So you guys are my, and do you remember me telling you this, kid? You're my gift to the world. I mean, you're it. You guys are it. So.
Well, thank you.
All right. Well,
We love you too.
We do.
all right. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Oh no.